This is GX 2024. We want to welcome to the tech stage the wonderful Kat Murphy-Toms. Kat, it's great to see you.
What's up, everybody? How are you, Chris
Kat, I'm doing great. Hopefully everybody is having a really terrific GX experience as we are. Kathleen, if there's one GX session that I've been looking forward to the most, it is this one. We're going to be talking Giving Days, so I'm going to let you take it away because we've got a wonderful panel lined up here ready to jump on with you. So take it away.
Thanks for taking care of all the behind-the-scenes stuff, Chris Straub. Shout out Chris Straub. Hello. Welcome, everybody, to Generosity Exchange. Whether you have been joining us for throughout both days or just joining us today, we are so glad that you're here. A couple of housekeeping things. Yes, this is being recorded. You'll be able to get to it. There's a replay button that's in here in this portal, though it'll be there later today, I promise. There's captions available, automated captions, if you press the CC button below. And please let us know in the chat. Tell us where you're from. I'd love to know. We're talking about Giving Days in this next session. I'd love to know the name of your local Giving Day. And if you don't know if you have a local Giving Day, ask me. I will tell you. I have a spreadsheet of every single one of them. I would be glad to let you know what your Giving Day is. Okay, who am I? I am Kathleen Murphy-Toms. I am the Director of Sales for Neon Giving Days. And I'm just a hype woman for mobilizing more people to do more good in the world in both small ways and in big ways. We're going to be talking about Giving Days in this next 30 minutes. And a Giving Day is usually a 24-hour event. Sometimes it's longer. And it's an event where nonprofits, grant makers, small businesses, schools, neighbors, an entire community, that is to say, comes together to inspire collective generosity. For nonprofits, a Giving Day is a really, really powerful way to tap into local support. It's a great way to build awareness for your organization, for your mission, to access new donors, right? Potential new supporters who may not yet know about your cause. And participating in these Giving Days can really amplify your message. It can generate excitement with a sense of urgency. It can help you connect to a broader community and raise those essential funds. They're just such wonderful and unique opportunities to grow your donor base, energize your existing supporters, especially when you have a small or non-existent budget, that is to say. Behind the scenes of a Giving Day, there's a host, right? There's a host organization or a host person or a coalition of people who are hosting. And the hosts are doing things like organizing community-wide events that shine a light on some of the good that's happening in your community. These hosts are creating challenges. They are organizing matches. They're securing media opportunities for all of the nonprofit participants together, right? They're doing things like buying full page ads in the newspaper, taking out billboards across your city to reach people who may have never, ever given to a charity before. But we know from study after study that people desperately want to give. They just might not necessarily know where or how, right? And so enter the Giving Day, right? It's the perfect vehicle to help generate new participation in generosity and help us build a growing coalition of people who are just out there ready to help us create more change in the world. So with me today, I've got some of my favorite Giving Day hosts, and there's some of my just among my favorite humans in general. So Chris, if you could bring everybody up onto the stage, we're going to talk about some ideas, some creative ways for nonprofits to participate in their local Giving Day, whether that's Giving Tuesday, whether that's any of these great days that you all are mentioning in the chat, whether that's a cause-based Giving Day. So I'm so glad to have you all. Thank you guys for coming. I can't thank each of you enough for joining us and lending us your vision and your expertise and your wisdom. You all have each led a Giving Day in many cases for several years. Rhonda, you're on the newer side. What I'd like to do is if you guys wouldn't mind kicking us off in introducing yourselves, and I'd love for you to share a little bit about your Giving Day, maybe why it is your organization hosts that Giving Day, and then let's have a conversation about how nonprofits might be able to participate. Shantrell, you want to go first?
Sure. Can you guys hear me okay?
Sure can.
All right, thanks. I'm in my car. I'm at a table event for work right now anyway.
Hey.
So please excuse me. So hi, everyone. My name is Shantrell Mitchell. I work for Central Carolina Community Foundation. We have 2 giving days. Our biggest one is Midlands Gives Day, which is the first Tuesday of May. And then we have a second one that we host in August in reference to Black Philanthropy Month, which is Give 828. Hi, Chris. Chris used to work with us on our giving days in the past. So I have been doing giving days for 2 years now. Next year will be my 3rd year. My first year I came in, we did 4.4 billion. In the year previously, they did 2.2. So I'm pretty glad for that accomplishment coming on. And why we do the Giving Day, we want to make sure that we recognize all of nonprofits in the community who are doing great work. We recognize that we do have smaller nonprofits who don't get the recognition that they do deserve because they are doing tremendous work in the community. And we just want our community to realize that there's more than just the major nonprofits who is doing wonderful work.
That's awesome. Thank you. Broc.
Hello, everyone. I am Broc Carter. I'm the director of the Panhandle Gives. That is a event hosted by the Amarillo Area Foundation. We are a community foundation in Amarillo, Texas, that covers the 26 counties of the Texas Panhandle. And the reason we host a Giving Day is one of our core values is innovation, and we feel like Giving Days are an innovative space to attract new and younger donors to organizations that may not have access to such an audience. It also elevates philanthropy in our area. We started in 2016 with a very small organizational list, participating organizations, and I think we raised $76,000 that year, and you would have thought we raised $20 million because we were so excited that it actually worked. Last year, we raised $9.6 million in our 9-day campaign. We don't just do a 1-day campaign. It's a 9-day campaign starting the day before, the Monday before Thanksgiving, and crescendos on Giving Tuesday, the best Tuesday of the year, which is my favorite Tuesday of the year. And I'm aware that only one of those Tuesdays of the 52 in the year are giving. Every other one is taking. So if you host a Giving Day, you know that is the truth. Anyways, we are really excited to be here, but also we represent a very rural area, and we have some micropolitan areas in our service area. Amarillo is half of the population of the Panhandle, and the other half live in the other 24 counties. So we are sparsely populated, but we are very philanthropic in our region, and that's our goal, is to increase philanthropy and to show that philanthropy can change our communities.
Love that, love that. Rhonda, tell us about Earth Gives.
Hey everyone, I'm Rhonda, coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona. I had been part of starting Arizona Gives Day when I was the board chair of the Alliance of Arizona Nonprofits. So with that background and looking at a pivot in my journey and inspired by a youth climate activist, I thought, what about a Giving Day for the environment? And when I did the research to find out how little funding goes to environmental, climate, and climate justice causes, I thought, well, this is my journey going forward, concerned about my kids, everyone's kids, our planet, and what we're struggling through. Obviously, we've broken records in Phoenix for extreme heat. Just today and yesterday are our first days below 100 degrees. So we founded Earth Gives. It's different than typical Giving Days, as Kat talked about, in that we're not part of an alliance and we're not part of a foundation. We are a standalone mini startup nonprofit trying to be innovative, and nothing like biting off a big chunk is we are attempting to be nationwide. So literally starting from zero, building a database, having to build trust, having to explain what a giving day is to a lot of environmental and climate folks across the country, and calling across multiple time zones. And slowly but surely, we are working to provide a one-stop shop platform to say, probably the line, the water is warm, is not a good one, since our oceans are heating and causing extreme storms. But it's like, hey, I want to do something on climate. I see all these headlines that cause great fear, but I don't even know where to begin. And is planting a tree enough? So we want to provide a one-stop shop platform for people to come in and experience environmental and climate nonprofits from all across the country. So you can get engaged and give locally, or you can give statewide or around a cause that is really passionate to you. So we're just beginning, and we hope to collaborate with folks all across the country, including other giving initiatives, to provide a place for environmental and climate justice nonprofits to find a second Giving Day home.
I love what you all are doing, Rhonda. This is like a newer take on the Giving Day, right? Like it doesn't have to just be geographic. What if there's cause-based Giving Days? So I'm so looking forward to watching all that you're going to do, Rhonda. All right, friends. So we mentioned this already. A Giving Day is a really great day. It's a prime day to try something new, right? Or organizing something really unique. And the reason is not to stand out in the crowd, right? You've heard this term before. How do I stand out in the crowd? I'd rather encourage nonprofits to embrace the crowd, right? Having access to a crowd to begin with is one of the reasons that you even participate in a Giving Day. Yeah. And I'd really like to talk about some of the ways that we can create like deep, meaningful, and creative experiences for our supporters. What are some of the ways that you've seen nonprofits participate in a Giving Day that really made you go, oh my God, that's terrific, right? Like one of these stories that sticks with you all these years. Or it could be, do you have a piece of advice for nonprofits who are wanting to create a really memorable Giving Day campaign? Anybody got one before I call on one of you?
I'm happy to go first. One of the things that we are very, very proud of at the Panhandle Gives is that we don't have a lot of rules for our organizations to follow. We don't have a lot of policies and procedures, and we let them truly be innovative and meet the needs of their unique communities and their unique audiences wherever they are. One of the ways we did that is we host a large kickoff celebration event for the Panhandle Gives on the Monday of the Panhandle Gives, but we also have had, and we've had organizations ask if they could host like a community-wide event in their own communities with the organizations that are representing that community coming together and really showing what philanthropy looks like in their community. And we had some organizations kind of start this, and we were like, we don't care. You don't have to come to our event. You're happy to, you're welcome to do your own event. And we had a community. It's a little tiny town of 3,000 people. Do that, and they went from raising $30,000 through the giving campaign to $130,000, and simply by really just showing that there's no competition in philanthropy, and also it gave the donor a unique view into what all is happening with philanthropic dollars in a small community like Spearman, Texas. And that's just one of the hacks. Another thing we've done is we are a community foundation and we have donor advised funds, and nothing is worse than a donor advised fund sitting there growing without the dollars going out to the community. We open our campaign 2 weeks early for what we call our VIPs and allow them to give through their donor advised fund to this year will be 238 participating nonprofit organizations, and that is about $250,000 in giving that helps us launch the campaign when we turn it on 2 weeks later. So we're actually gearing up for that right now, and it's a really exciting time because our mission is that we don't want donor advised fund dollars sitting in donor advised funds, because that's not where they make a difference.
Love that. Love that.
I can go next. As a community foundation, it's our responsibility to make sure that we get donors to the platform so they can give to the nonprofit. So last year we did a giving day event, and one of our business partners decided to do raffles. So any donors who raffle at the event, they got a chance to win one of the experiences that they were offering. It was with our Fireflies, our baseball team, our local baseball team here. So some of them were, you get to throw the first pitch at a game, you get a club seating, or your child gets a chance to be in the dugout with the players. So it was a pretty cool experience, and we had a lot of people who were interested in it. Another thing that I've seen nonprofits do, that they have like themes around Midlands Gives Day. Like, we have one nonprofit, they have a theme every year, and I think one year they did like the Wizard of Oz. So it's just very cool to
Fun.
see their marketing campaigns around giving and that theme, the theme around Wizard of Oz. It was pretty cool. And another thing that we do here at the foundation, we have early giving. Our early giving is a month. So we started off early to give nonprofits a chance to go ahead and start with their marketing campaigns, and we do our donor advised funds. They have no fees when they donate, but we also have one donor advised funds that is an anonymous donor, and he donates to over sometimes 20 organizations and big amounts. So we've seen donations go from $1,000 to like $10,000. So yes, and so we always tell nonprofits to make sure you keep your profiles updated, because we have donors that are looking.
Great point. Great point, Shantrell. Rhonda, any nonprofit campaigns that stood out to
Oh
you
my
this year
gosh.
or
Well, I
last
can't
year?
compete with those. Those are great ideas. Thanks for sharing them. We're just in such the early stages that it's hard, as you can imagine, doing what you're doing, but on a national level and still trying to build trust and communicate. But I would say that we do open early giving. So it's about 25 to 26 days of early giving. And during that time, we host what we call power hours. And those are for the public to come and learn from the nonprofits about actionable ideas that they can take. So very approachable on climate change, circularity, zero waste, democracy and the intersection to climate and policy, a number of things. The expertise of the nonprofits is second to none. And we've seen great interest in those arenas. And we've gotten some really talented executive directors or seasoned scientists and folks who work close to the issues to be able to talk to those. I would also say that because I come at this, so a lot of talk yesterday about the accidental fundraiser. That's kind of me. I started life as a journalist in television news. And so the power of video and storytelling is really great. And I saw one of our nonprofits this year really do well in storytelling, but talking about the people behind the nonprofit, because it's not that you're giving to an organization that we don't understand what it is. We're giving to empower people in our communities to do the work. And I think being able to present that and offer that is really important. And so they don't know it, but they're getting our creative prize this year,
Yes.
which is brand new this year, but we're going to announce that at our virtual thank you reception.
That's great. You made a great point. It doesn't have to be hard to come up with a creative or unique campaign. It doesn't have to take a lot of budget either. One of my favorite campaigns, and Rhonda, your story is making me remember it. It was a nonprofit. They were a homeless services organization, and they were wanting to show how meaningful their work is. And so during Giving Tuesday, so a few years ago, their executive director committed to staying on the roof of their organization until they hit their goal. And she live streamed from the roof to their Facebook page or wherever, talking about the organization's mission. She invited former clients of theirs, former because they've been graduated the program and they've been housed. She interviewed them on what it meant to have a roof over their head, get it like tie into the stay on the roof. It was very creative, very clever, very low budget. She honest to God, was just streaming from her phone. And it sticks with me all these years. I remember that campaign, right? I remember the stories, to your point. And that's the wonderful moments when you have a spotlight on you during a giving day to be highlighting these sorts of community stories. So great. So
Our
great.
dream for next year is to actually be doing early giving live from New York Climate Week.
I love that.
Because that's when early giving happens, and the organization behind it signed up to participate in Earth Gives. So we're gonna see what we can pull off.
Awesome. You're going to pull off something amazing. I know it. Giving's been down, right? You're hearing this. It's a surround sound in all of our world. There's signs that the state of fundraising is going to improve, but I'd argue that there's no better place or space for nonprofits to leverage a great fundraising moment than by participating in your giving day, right? From taking advantage of the free publicity that you're going to get because the hosts some of them are here, are organizing really great media opportunities, to getting a chance to re-engage your existing supporters, to work on retaining your existing supporters and getting them to introduce you to new supporters. It's just a great playing ground, right? Could each of you share some of the reasons that you give to your nonprofit community when it's nonprofit registration season ahead of your giving day? What are some of the reasons and some of the value propositions that you're giving to your nonprofit community for reasons that they would participate and they should participate in their giving day?
I can go first. We did do like a focus group about our giving day to see what we can improve. And one of the nonprofits said by them participating in our giving day, it has given them trust in the community amongst other donors. Because other donors see that if the community foundations is behind you, we see that you're on their giving day. We see that they're also a part of our grants processes that we have, our competitive grants. You have to be a trustworthy organization. So other donors have started giving into them just based on by joining our Midlands Gives platform. And that's something that we love to hear nonprofits say, that they can do great work just by being associated with us.
Love that, love that, love that. Broc, what do you tell nonprofits when you're telling them, hey, it's time to register for Panhandle Gives?
Okay, two things. First, I want to answer a question from Emma in the chat. Is that legal to do now? Or are we doing
Yeah,
that?
please. Yeah, we can do that now.
Okay, so you can kind of, there are multiple ways to approach this. You can start out with a bang or you can end with a bang, and it's up to you to decide what you want, how you want to do that. But you should announce it as soon as you want to have people giving, and even before, if you're doing it if you're using it as a carrot for people to give before the campaign, obviously you want to talk about that even before the campaign starts, and you want to follow with emails, social media posts, even phone calls to strategic donors and letting them know that you have a match starting your campaign, or the opposite if you're doing it at the end of your campaign, or if you're doing it in the mid of your campaign to kind of get over that hump, especially for us because we have a 9 days, so you've got more time, but it should be done very quickly. Okay, back to the question at hand. I just talk to organizations all the time who, and kind of an unexpected benefit of organizations participating is there are organizations that we didn't even know existed as the community foundation in our region, and the registration process is such a low bar for them to feel like sometimes it's uncomfortable to approach a funder or things like that. So it created kind of a low bar for us to be able to create a relationship, and now we have organizations that we didn't know existed participated in the Panhandle Gives and now are getting grants through our discretionary grant cycles. But
I'm so glad you mentioned that, Broc.
yeah.
That's incredible. A lot of hosts look at your local giving day. Oftentimes the host is a community foundation, and this is a great way to get embedded into that community. Thanks, Broc. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say too, another thing is it allows a smaller nonprofit to attach themselves to a larger a larger campaign that's happening and allows them to be seen at a greater height than they have been seen in the past, and seen as more vital because you're clearly a legitimate organization and a part of a really big campaign. One of the things that we really talk about going into the campaign is that we have vetted the organizations that participate in the Panhandle Gives and made sure that they were in good standing and that they had done all the things that they needed to be an organization that is seen in a positive way by our IRS rules.
Rhonda, what's your pitch to nonprofits for why they should participate in Earth
again,
Gives?
we're very different. We don't really have
Yeah.
much of a pitch because we don't have a foundation or whatnot. So a lot of times I spent time on the phone talking with people, building trust, you know, and it is literally, we come at this from a perspective of we need to build a community of Earth givers. So not only is giving down, but we're starting at just 2% of all philanthropy. So, and yet this issue impacts literally every other issue across the board. And so we're saying, help us help other people find you who are concerned about this, because there's a great many people and growing, especially since the storms. And thank you, Shantrell. You've got a hurricane relief fund. We just set up one and said, let's just keep the platform open. And we just got our first donation for that. And that is different than disaster relief because there are nonprofits that work in climate change and the environment that get overlooked. It's not like direct person service, but they have to go out and do cleanup and test water and like all these other things that are so critical, you know, to communities overall. So we're going to try to be as innovative as we can. And that's so at the end of the day, it's literally about how can we build trust? How can we say the promise is in the future? Join us now, be part of co-creating this idea so that people as individuals embrace the moniker of I'm an Earth giver. However that shows up in your life, you're going to shift how you shop, how you consume, how you vote, how you volunteer, and also how you give.
Thank you all so much for leading the charges within your respective communities to help us build more generosity in the world. Your work is critical. It's so meaningful. You are helping so many nonprofits. Thank you all for joining us today and offering your wisdom.
Thank you.